Good evening. Welcome to Clarksburg City Council meeting, May 4th, 2017.
Gary Bowden.
Here.
Robert Kaplan.
Here.
Ryan Kennedy.
Here.
Sam Lopez. Chad Sigmund.
Here.
Vice Mayor Malpajoe.
Here.
Mayor Goins. This evening we have our prayer and our pledge by our Vice Mayor.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of the community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions and continue to remind us that all we do here this evening and all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of your name, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening we have a special presentation by our Councilmember Sigmund and Mr. Williams, if he's present, if he'd come forward.
A proclamation, whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas mental illnesses are real and prevalent in our nation, and half of us will have a mental health diagnosis at some point in our lives, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives and should feel comfortable in seeking help and support to manage these times, and whereas engaging in prevention, early identification, and early interventions are as effective ways to reduce the burden of mental illnesses as they are to reduce the burden of other chronic conditions. And whereas this month we renew our commitment to ridding our society of the stigma associated with mental illness, encourage those living with mental health conditions to get the help they need, and reaffirm our pledge to ensure those who need help have access to the support, acceptance, and resources they deserve. And whereas let us strive to ensure people living with mental health conditions know that they are not alone, that hope exists, and that the possibility of healing and thriving is real. And whereas gratitude and appreciation is expressed to United Summit Center, a premier provider of quality behavioral health care services, working diligently to ensure that such health care services are available and accessible to those in need. Now therefore, I, Catherine A. Goins, Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, do hereby proclaim May 2017 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Clarksburg and call upon all citizens to raise mental health awareness and continue helping Americans live longer, healthier lives. In witness thereof, I have hereon to set my hand that have caused the official seal of the City of Clarksburg to be affixed hereto this 4th day of May, 2017. Catherine Engleman.
I appreciate this very much on behalf of United Summit Center. Just a couple of things. One, mental health centers in the city of Clarksburg have been around for just about exactly 50 years. It's gone through a few name changes from Central District Mental Health to Summit Center for Human Development to United Summit Center. United Summit Center has been around for about 20 years. But we appreciate, again, the acknowledgement. Chad has done a lot individually to bring awareness to mental health recovery, both as an individual and as a worker. And again, United Summit Center would just like to thank Council very much for the acknowledgement.
Approval of the minutes of the special session of April 18, 2017.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of April 20, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Petitions, communications, and public hearings, if you could please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Michael Lambiot, 555 East Main Street, wishes to address council concerning city revitalization.
Thank you. And before I begin, I would, since it doesn't seem to be a very, very heavy agenda, I would like to request additional few minutes, Mr. Vice Mayor, if that's at all possible. I will not take over 6 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes and 45 seconds to be exact.
Okay, you're on the clock.
Thank you, sir. As I said, my name is Mike Lambiot, and I'm not here representing any organization. I want to make that very perfectly clear. I'm here representing just myself. But I would like to speak to council about the attractiveness and beautification of our city and about revitalization in general. For the past 4 years, I've been heavily involved in revitalization efforts throughout Clarksburg. And during those 4 years, I've gotten lots of comments from citizens, people I grew up with, people that have left the city, people that have come back. And I started thinking a lot about those. And sometimes a person is too close to, it's sort of like the forest for the trees. Sometimes you can be too close to a situation to be totally objective. So I started thinking about our city and the beautification. And on March 26th, I posted some pictures on my Facebook page. I came up early one morning and took some pictures on Pike Street, and Main Street, and I posted them on my Facebook page. And I just wanted to get an objective opinion to see what people thought. I just said, here are the pictures. Tell me what you think we can do to make our city more attractive. It was an informal survey, an opinion survey. My results, as I said, I have copies, of all the comments and so forth here that people, and the pictures that I had posted. But remember, these pictures were done in the end of March. My purpose was not to embarrass. It was not to offend. It was not to defend. Apparently, I did 2 of the 3 without any intentions of doing that. But I received over 65 comments. Those are public on my Facebook page. Many of them sent me private messages. And what I've done is that I have the comments. If anybody would like to go on my Facebook page or like to look at them, please feel free to do so. But at the advice of some other people in the area, I took those comments and combined them into different categories. I'd like to share those categories with council now. And these are not in any order of importance. The first category was developing a tasteful vision. In other words, they said they put in categories: paint, clean up our storefronts, and good signage for people coming in, which I'll address that a little bit later on. Next is lots of color. People look downtown and they don't see a lot of color. And they said, okay, let's put a lot of flowers, have flowers down there, let's make the city bloom. Awnings, benches, trees. I know there's issues with benches and trees, but I don't necessarily agree with the people that are against those issues. A third category was outdoor dining and evening dining localities. A fourth category was public art. And as one individual said, public art is the heart and soul of revitalization. And if you don't believe this individual said, research a bit on Braddock, Pennsylvania, to see what they have done. Next was green space for lounging, for children, families, and I realize we're limited in green space, but that was one of the things that they had asked for. And the last category was panhandling and prostitution. And a lot of times we look at the police department and say panhandling and prostitution is a police department problem. It's not. It's a city problem. It's our problem altogether. So as I continue, please keep in mind those 6 categories. Because soon, very, very soon, I think Councilman Sigmund, you mentioned something about the Robinson Grand coming up. Very soon, our Robinson Grand Performing Arts Center, at a cost of $15 million, will open up. Let's take just a few moments and just in our mind, just go on a little bit of a virtual tour that I would like us to go on. Let's push the calendar ahead. It's May 6th, 2018. It's opening night, and we're sold out. We have 950 people. You're waiting to get in to the Robinson Grand. People are coming from all over the state and all over surrounding states. Many of them will come early. And there was a group from Pittsburgh that had decided to come down, and they said, we've never been to Clarksburg before. Let's come early. Let's go for dinner, and let's go shopping before the performance. Others arrived just in time to go to the theater. They park, they walk. Many of them park in Jackson Square, Main Street, 4th Street, 3rd Street. Now imagine you're one of those people you've never been here before, you park in Jackson Square. You walk out of Jackson Square and you look around. What do you see? You walk down the street towards the Robinson Grand, and yes, you see a beautiful old building. It looks like it came right out of Gone with the Wind. The city put, $1 million in that building. Very attractive. You see a new federal credit union, that's being landscaped. But you also continue to walk down, and you see a bus stop. You see a lot of people milling around the bus stop. You see some people sitting on the sidewalk. What impression do we want our visitors to have? They enter a magnificent theater. They enjoy a wonderful performance. But following the performance, a group of people says, it's still early, it's only 10:30. Let's walk uptown and let's find someplace to have a nice cocktail. And one of them said, I think there's someplace I've heard it's a martini bar on the 5th floor of a building or something close by. So let's go there. Others say, no, let's just walk uptown and let's enjoy a cup of coffee. But this is 10:30 at night. So they're walking up 3rd Street, they're turning the corner of Main Street, and what do they see? What impression do we want them to see?
Mike, you're coming up on your last 45 seconds.
No. The city accomplishments, I know the city's accomplished an awful lot. We've done sidewalk programs, a wonderful lighting program, additional lights on downtown Main Street, flowers on the poles. We've done some painting, done some paving. And I know the city has a lot of plans. We have plans for an island renovation. We have plans for the Mayor's Challenge for beautification, for planters downtown. Personally, I like to see plans, for ambassadors in Main Street on the night of the performances. We have a lot of plans, but do visitors see plans? Visitors do not see plans. Think for a moment, what will they see? What will they feel? Will it be positive and pleasant, or will it be something else? We want these people to return. We want people to return to our city. We want them to return, and we want them to have positive impressions. And all I'm saying is, as an individual, I grew up here. I've been a resident here for many, many years. I want to be part of the solution. I want to work with the city. We want to work with individuals, around the city to help make this the very, very positive experience for people in the area. But I want, this is not a police problem. It's not a city council problem. It's something I've seen. I've lived here long enough. I've seen what was. I see what is. I want to be part of what can be. So I would just like to leave with those comments and ask you to think 12 months will come by very, very quickly. And what will our visitors see when they come to downtown Clarksburg? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
James Weissenberger, 1306 Williams Avenue, wishes to address council concerning the bar Journey's End in Northview. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Oh, that's fine. You did a fine job. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak, and I want to take a few minutes, and I won't take 6 or 7, but I might take a couple more than 3, and I'm glad that Mike gave me a little bit of a lead in, and because I think that was a lead in. And first of all, I want to be very careful in the way that I choose my words tonight, and I hope you understand that I don't have any prepared remarks. First of all, I want everybody here to understand, and I want you, Phil, to understand that what happened was an absolute tragedy, regardless of any circumstances. And I also want everybody here to know that when I write on that paper that I'm talking about a bar, Journey's End, and Northview, that nothing that I say is personal at all. I stood up here approximately 4 years ago or around there when this same bar was called Pat and Steve's or Steve and Pat's, and talked to City Council. Actually, at that point, pleaded with City Council about zoning and about things of that sort. And because we had never had any problems when that was Northview Market at the time, and then it became a bar. We live in a residential neighborhood. I asked the City Council people at that time, I said, I wonder how you would feel if you had a bar in your neighborhood. And basically I just kind of got some blank stares. Pretty kind of much what I get tonight. And I kind of said the same thing. I said, I wonder what it will take before we get some action. Now we've had an unspeakable tragedy in Northview. I've lived in Northview for 39 years. I'm not going to say Mike and Jenny Walker are here behind me, and my son, Jason, and my granddaughter, Peyton, with the red hair back there. She's 10 years old. They live 2 doors up from Journey's End. I don't know. I heard the first shot at 3:50 or around 3:54 in the morning. I don't know how many shots. I'm not a forensic expert. What I do know is there was more than one shot, unless I'm wrong. I know I heard more than one. And I don't know which direction they went, but I do know that if there was more than one, that there's a possibility they could go through the wall of my grandchildren's home. And I also know that I live 500 feet from that bar, and so does Mike and Jenny. They have a 13, how old?
17, 14.
17 and 14. They go through those walls. That is a concern. And not just mine, that's a personal concern because that's my grandkids, 3 of them, and them, and everybody else in Northview. I've lived there 39 years. I used to not lock my doors. I used to leave my keys in my car. I don't anymore. Because actually we joke around, but we don't call it Northview, we call it the Hood. Yeah. It's not really that funny anymore to us. And when I say he gave me a lead in, we talk about beautification of uptown, but I wonder what the people think when they read about what's going on in Northview, and not about the beautification of downtown, but the decline of our town because of drugs and gang-related activity and murder. It's an unspeakable tragedy, but let's call it what it is, because that's what happened. Now, all I'm asking is, or all I'm pleading, I guess, is, what are we going to do? What action and what's it going to take before, and all we're saying, I guess, is, and all I'm saying, I guess, is when and how long is it going to be before we just don't have a bar in a residential section of town, whether it be Northview, Staley, Broad Oaks, wherever it may be. When are they going to be taken out and put into the outskirts where they need to be? I don't have anything against the bar when it's where it's supposed to be. You know, I guess I could ramble on and on and on, and then somebody up here would tell me, Jim, you've taken enough of our time. So we got to bang the gavel and say you've taken enough. You've allotted your time, because we have a process. We have to go according to the rules. I wish that we had more, and I thought that we were going to have more of our neighbors here tonight. I'm not going to say their names. And I wish that there was more of our neighbors standing here or sitting here tonight. I wouldn't say their names, and I will say this: I don't know why they're here. I don't know if it's because of fear. I really don't. I suspect it may be. I really do. But I don't know. But there were supposed to be more. But I just ask and implore, you know, let's think about it and let's be serious about what we think about. You know, I mean, we do a lot of, we have seen and we do see a lot of good things that happen, but we see a lot of bad things. And then things like this happen in the neighborhood. I'm not saying that it may not happen or it may not have happened if we didn't have a bar. I don't know. I'm not an expert in those areas. But I just have a gut feeling that if we don't have a bar in a neighborhood, that there's a good chance it may not. You know, it may not have happened on West Virginia Avenue, right there. It may have happened somewhere else. Not next to a residential section. So I guess I've said what I came to say. I thank you for the time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
City managers report and update.
So the general updates of the YMCA, the HVAC replacement project, the boilers, pool heater and pumps are all set in place. The plumbing lines and ductwork have also been completed. Olimbeck, the owner of the Chase building, they are continuing with the old Stonewall parking lot. They have resumed work as of this past Monday, May 1st. They were awaiting a particular stone to be delivered. They had their logo on it for that new part of the wall that's been installed. The concrete is being poured to complete that portion of the project. So work is continuing as planned per their timeline. The Chase building that Olimbeck does own, they will begin replacing the windows on that Monday, May 8th. Modoc Alley will be closed for about 2 to 3 weeks until that portion of the building has been completed. Then there will be some one lane enclosure on South 3rd Street and then one on Main Street, and then those will be closures will be forthcoming as well. We'll announce those to the media to let the public know. Sidewalk improvement program, the city did begin accepting applications Monday, May 1st, and to date there has been 16 applications handed out, 4 already returned. For the Robinson Grand, the masonry cleaning has commenced on the upper center portion of the front side of Pike Street. The contractors closed the sidewalk and has a dedicated walkway in place now to keep the pedestrians away from the front door of that area where they're doing work. And the marquee has been completely removed. The steel framing, it will be kept in place as the new marquee, when it's installed, will be installed on those new beams. The seating contractor will be in town next week to look at the seating per the project, and that will be installed later on the project as well. Then there's been an average of 31 construction workers on site every day, per day, and they're working. And then ribbon cuttings, Nani's Niche is Wednesday, May 10th at 12 noon. That's at 135 North Ohio Avenue. And then Village Caregiving ribbon cutting will be Thursday, May 18th at noon. That's on 244 East Main Street. And then just under police and fire, the drug enforcement intergovernmental agreement. This is the agreement that council did approve back in January. That has been executed. The city of Bridgeport should have received it this morning. We are going to take it to the county commission to have them sign it as well. The sheriff is on board for it. So once that is executed, the funding will be in place for the sheriff's department to hire another officer that would work directly with the DEA. Now, with that said, again, we still have the issue of getting over the hurdle of the DEA accepting the agreement and the MOUs between the intergovernmental agreements. But us, the county, and Bridgeport all decided, let's sign it, get it done, and then stick it in front of the DEA and let them make the decision what they want to do. Our goal is still to get more law enforcement on the grounds to do what's necessary to help in all these different situations we're dealing with. Bike patrol will begin Monday, May 8th. The constant visible police presence will be in downtown and Glen Elk on the bike patrol, and then hopefully get out in the neighborhoods when we have an opportunity with the bike. And then police civil service will be administering the promotional test for sergeant and lieutenants on Monday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. And then the fire, we did complete interviewing for 2 vacancies that we have within the fire department. We do anticipate these 2 officers beginning May 16th and May 17th within the fire department, and then there will be a swearing-in ceremony Tuesday, May 16th here in council chambers. Sanitary Board, Dale Avenue Sewer System Improvement Project. The non-mandatory pre-bid meeting was held this morning at 10 a.m. here in council chambers. We did have 7 general contractors attend, and we do have know of interest from 1 other contractor is also interested in this project. The bid opening is scheduled for Thursday, May 18th at 2 p.m. and the Sanitary Board will consider awarding the bid Tuesday, May 23rd at 2:30 p.m. And then the FOIA request, the patrolman Mark Wagman, that request that was filed on April 3rd. The information was presented. Lieutenant Snyder spent 5 hours gathering requested documentation. Kelly Lanza spent 3 days redacting the names from all the various reports. The total reproduction of 500 copies were made. The patrolman never showed up to review the FOIA request. So that's been completed and refiled, and that information will be submitted to the Secretary of State's office. And that completes the measures.
No unfinished business. New business, consideration of a resolution of the Council of the City of Clarksburg amending the local community revitalization plan, affordable housing for families.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Council comments?
I'll start out. Today, we had the $12 million dedication down at the water filtration plant down in, I guess that's Edgewood Addition, and it's $13 million, $12 to $13 million investment, and it's quite the facility, Ryan?
Just a couple of things. First of all, I want to echo what our Vice Mayor just said about the upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant. It was really spectacular and really great to see that today. Also, I just want to let you know that right across the street, a little bit down the road from the city building, until 8 o'clock tonight, Clarksburg Youth Academy is having their open house to celebrate 50 years of being in business. And they are doing free hair and nails, giving out prizes, so you have about half an hour left to try to get in on that after the meeting. And the last thing I'm going to put out is not something that had anything to do with the city of Clarksburg, just a personal note. The last time that Ringling Brothers and Bar and Belly Circus will ever come to Charleston, West Virginia is happening this weekend. And I remember going down there as a child many years when it would come through every year. My parents would take me. And I'm taking my children this weekend. And I'm just sad that this will be the last chance that we have to go. That's all I have.
Gary?
Robert?
The only thing I might add is that the wastewater treatment plant that I was able to go to today has set a foundation, and I've said this before, for the city of Clarksburg and surrounding areas to grow, improve. What they've done there is remarkable. This town is ready for the future. Obviously, we have a lot of problems locally, as it was expressed this evening, we need to take care of, and hopefully we can. But it was a wonderful facility, and the beautification project that was talked about this evening is wonderful too. And I want to again, bring up something real quick that I talked about several meetings back, and it's a project that's taking place on Monticello called the Moore Project, I believe, where they're trying to take back a neighborhood that has fallen on hard times, or whatever you want to say. I look at this as a catalyst for other neighborhoods, whether it be Staley or Northview or our town, unlike other towns, is a community of neighborhoods, and if we can take them back one at a time, I think that's a good way to approach it. And I understand where you're coming from. I wish I could say I felt your pain, but I understand completely what you're talking about. And I thank you for addressing council tonight.
Thank you.
Chad? I just want to thank the gentleman for speaking today. It is a big problem that we're having in this area, especially with the drug issues. Trying to do little things, step at a time. A new Lions Club has been developed called Hope. And Brian, what's the acronym? Harrison?
Harrison ongoing, try to remember what, I don't remember what
It's focus. It's a focusing on drug prevention. Hope Lions Club. And but there's something we should look into. I know it's probably a planning zoning issue for residential bars and residential, but I've been a big person against bars and close to residentials. That's why when I saw that there's any type of issue for gaming or anything like that, I voted against it. Hopefully that tragedy will not happen again. And but it's pretty scary. I put myself, Mike, in your shoes, and it's scary to think that what can come through. But hopefully, but we're going on the positive. I look at all the things that we are trying to do, getting the police, the bike patrol. So there's a lot of good. And for Mike, gentlemen, when you said what will the visitors see, I think Clarksburg's really gone a long other way. To do a lot of positive things with the flower bulbs, the beautification projects, and I'm looking forward to that. But I would love to see you talk with you some of your ideas that you got on your feedback, and work together to make it.
I'm happy to.
Yes, that'd be great. But I just want to thank everyone.
I'd like to add one more thing, Mr. Weisenberger. I would suggest that you get the neighbors, all the neighbors that you can, to call the Alcohol Beverage Control Administration in Charleston and put some heat on them. I mean, obviously this bar was operating after hours, if it happened that late at night. So, I mean, maybe they can revoke the license. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, if they get enough call from the people of Northview and the people of Clarksburg, they can put some pressure on because they have that control. And also, thank you for sharing that with us. Adjournment?
So move.
Second.